Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Monroe here, liking Jiu-Jitsu. Last week we talked about my first experience in Jiu-Jitsu. So I guess what I'll do today or tonight is I'll continue on from there, so you can get a better understanding of who I am, you know, where I am, where I'm at with Jiu-Jitsu, how I see Jiu-Jitsu, and how it's helped me, and the struggle of, as we all know that, you train in Jiu-Jitsu, it's not just straightforward. You don't just, okay, I'm just going to train until I get my black belt and, work hard and that's it. No, doesn't work like that. It's a lot like life. You've got your ups and downs, your highs, your lows, your peaks and your valleys. So, I continued on with training after my first day. At that time, I think I did at least, I was always doing around 3 times per week, 3 to 4 times per week. And so I did that, and it was good, It was hard, just learning how to move, and you're coming home and your feet all, you got the mat burning your feet, your elbows hurt from getting it arm barred a lot, your throat is hurting, from the chokes, and so your body is really getting acclimated and used to the wear and tear and the hard work that Jiu-Jitsu puts you through. And so that was something different. So I tried to keep up with like hitting the weights and doing that stuff and doing Jiu-Jitsu, but then I realized that I'm not going to be able to do both. It just was too much. I could train a little bit, I do the weights a little bit, but for the most part, for a lot of my cardio and the working out, I was doing Jiu-Jitsu. And so class was good. My teammates were good. It was Baja brothers. We were just working hard. Me, Isaiah, Chow, Carl, Jonathan. We were working hard. It's pretty good. We had guys come in. We had a guy come in, I believe his name is Junior. Then we had another guy, Eddie. Shouts out to Eddie, man. If anybody knows where Eddie is, haven't seen that guy in a long time. I'm trying to catch up with him. But yeah, training was good. But unexpectedly, maybe I want to say 6-7 months in, the gym closed. Our teacher at that time, he decided that he would be moving down to Southern California, and he was going to pursue his MMA career. So imagine that. A lot like the times now where some of my new students, and they're just starting out, and then you start out, and then next thing you know, hey, you're not able to train. Well, this was different because I was able to train because I just hooked up with the guys, Carl, Isaiah, Chow. They kind of kept the gym open for a while. So we would all still come and we would train with those guys, and it was fun. I brought a couple friends. I remember I brought Mike. Hey, Mike, you remember when Carl did the DDT, the flying guillotine DDT? Yeah, I'm glad you didn't get hurt. Anyway, so we did that for a little bit, but of course they couldn't sustain that. We would go to gyms, like we went to Half Gracie Berkeley. We would train there a little bit, and we were kind of just bouncing around. A lot of my time I spent training with Chow. I would go to his place. He was a blue belt at the time, and he had condos out in Marina Bay. He had a condo out there, so we would go to his facility, community room or workout room, and we would lay out yoga mats. Bring Josiah with me. Have him either in a playpen or his car seat, put on SpongeBob, and we would train. He would teach me what he knew, and I would receive it. And then if I wasn't doing that, then I was going with Isaiah. We were going on field trips, like I said, to Half Gracie and Berkeley, and just different gyms to just try to keep training. And so we did that. Uh, I did that for maybe 8 months, 9 months or so. I think it was around 2008. And then we had another team come into the old gym that we were at, and they opened up. And so it was with that team. It was good, you know. I don't know if those of you know Kyle Cometa. Um, he's a really good guy. Really good guy. He's a brown belt at that time. And he's one of the most technical guys that I ever met. And so we would train hard, and he was all about mastering the basics and being skilled with the fundamentals. And so that was good. And of course, you know, it was worked for me because we were at the old spot, and so I was able to go in there and you know, we would train. You know, and Kyle, he was no nonsense. We had fun, but then we worked real hard. It was not a game. And so, you know, eventually that's when I met, you know, we met Cutter eventually through Kyle. Cutter, who else? We had Kyrus and what's this, Constantine. All those guys, we all kind of met under the Kyle and the 6'10", and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, you know, it was some good work or whatever. And the black belt that he was under at the time, you know, Kyle was under someone, and I ended up getting my blue belt from him. And you know, he's a great black belt. He still is. What do we say? We say Ricardo is able to train black belts. He'll turn a black belt, a regular black belt, because there are levels, into an elite black belt. You know, that's what Ricardo was. And so, you know, I got my blue belt from those two, and it was great, you know, and just training hard and everything. But unfortunately, I think, was it maybe a year or so? I'm cutting some corners here, but maybe a year after, year and a half maybe, had to go ahead and close the gym down. For whatever reason, the gym got closed down as well. So, you know, within 2.5 years or maybe 2 years, I had, you know, a gym shut down. Now, Kyle didn't necessarily leave. But for me, I think I looked at it as if, you know, I remember the first time when my previous teacher had left, and that void that I felt. And so for me, I kind of felt like maybe it would be kind of the same thing. And so I kind of like, you know, I don't know. You know, it was weird, because it was like, okay, we have a foundation of where we're going, and then it turned into not the foundation of where I thought that we would be going. So I remember Eddie, he went to this gym. It was out in Pleasanton. He went to a gym, and at that time I thought I was pretty good. You know, like when we would go to other gyms and stuff like that, I handled myself pretty well. I was good with my sweeps and everything, and you know, I wasn't a world beater or anything, but I thought I was doing pretty good. So he goes to this gym out in Pleasanton, and really good team, and he goes out there and he gets thrashed. And so he calls me up and he's like, man, I went to this gym out in Pleasanton, man, and the guy submitted me like 4 or 5 times in a row. I was just getting submitted and I couldn't do anything. And I was like, what? I was like, well, let me go check it out. So I planned it. He gives me the address and everything, and I go in, and it was Darcy O'Leary Jiu-Jitsu. Man, and I go in there and I introduce myself, got my blue belt and everything, and I do the class, and they're doing stand-up a lot and everything, and their format is like really structured, which was awesome. is like really structured. They had the set curriculum, and just they did everything different. You know, it's different, but it's different in a good way that I hadn't experienced yet. And so, yeah, we do the class and everything, and they're doing takedowns and everything. And at the end of class, you know, we get to the roll portion. And so they tell me that we're going to be rolling, and it's guaranteed rolling for 30 minutes. And the way they were doing it at that time is you had to do 30 minutes with one guy. And so me being a visitor, I was teamed up with a guy, and his name is Tony. Man, and they geared me up with that guy. And from the opening bell, I was thrashed. When I say thrashed, thrashed. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I mean, I didn't really have good stand-up, so I was getting tossed all over the mat. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I got submitted. I lost count. When we got to like 5 or 6 times, I lost count. I think maybe I snuck a submission in, but I mean, it was a good thrashing. And so from that night, I mean, I remember when I was getting thrashed, I was laughing because I was enjoying it. I wasn't laughing I was laughing at myself, like, man, you really thought that you had a grip on this whole jiu-jitsu thing, and I found out that I did not, and that there were levels. And so I vowed that I would not leave that gym. I was going to, whatever it take, I was going to keep coming back until I could hold my own there. And so that's what I did. So, you know, yeah, day in, day out, driving to Pleasanton 2 or 3 times a week, 4 times if I could, just training hard, trying to catch up with those guys. I mean, everybody was good. Every roll was dangerous, you know, and you just, you know, the stand-up, the judo, the self-defense, I mean, it was like, it was a match made in heaven. And that base mixed with everything else that and the teachers that I had built up, it was perfect. It was what I needed, and it really set me in motion of looking at jiu-jitsu as a self-defense art. And they compete heavy as well, but self-defense, I mean, it's like, it's numero uno. I remember participating in a belt test, and man, it was all day. I mean, it was working out, it was going through the techniques, but not only going through the techniques, but then you had to fight. And when I say fight, I mean like you were literally fighting, you just couldn't hit to the face. I mean, those guys were getting it in, you know, and I was grateful for being a part of that. And I'm gonna leave it there tonight, and thank you, and have a good rest of the evening or day. Thank you.